Okay, class. Now we want to continue on the discussion on how organizational design would have impact the employees' behavior. Now, remember that we opened this module chapter by implying that organization structure, company structure, can have significant effect on its employees. Now, we can review that there are evidence that leads to a clear conclusion, something that you can't generalize. Not everybody prefer the freedom and the flexibility of organizational structure. Different factors stand out in different structures as well. In a highly formalized, heavily structured, mechanistic organization, the level of fairness in formal policies and procedure is a very important predictor of job satisfaction. In more personal, individually adaptive organic organization, employee value interpersonal justice more than others. Some people are most productive and satisfied when work tasks are standardized and ambiguity is minimized. That is, when we apply what we call the mechanistic structure. So any discussion on the effect of organizational design on employees' behavior have to address individual differences. Let us consider employee preferences for work specialization, span of control, and centralization. Now, there is evidence that indicate work specialization contribute to higher employee productivity, but at the price of a reduced job satisfaction. However, job specialization is not a source of higher productivity. Problems start to surface and productivity begin to suffer when human diseconomies of doing repetitive and narrow tasks overtake the economies of specialization. As the workforce has become more highly educated, the desire for jobs that are intrinsically rewarding, we seem to reach the point at which productivity begins to decline more quickly than in the past. There is still a segment of the workforce that prefer routine and repetitive of highly specialized jobs. There are individuals who want work that make minimal intellectual demand and provide the security of routine. For them, high work specialization is a source of job satisfaction. The question, of course, is whether they represent the 2% of the workforce or the 52% of the workforce. Given that some self-selection operate in the choice of a career, we might conclude that negative behavioral outcome from a highly specialization structure are most likely to surface in professional jobs occupied by individuals with high need of personal growth and diversity. It is probably safe to say no evidence support a relationship between span of control and employee satisfaction or performance. Although it is intuitively attractive to argue that large span might lead to higher employee performance because they provide more distant supervision and the opportunity for personal growth and initiative, the research failed to support this notion. Some people like to be left alone. Others prefer the security of a boss who is quickly available at all times. Consistent with several of the contingency theory of leadership discussed earlier, we would expect factors such as employee experience and abilities and the degree of structure in their task to explain when wide or narrow span of control are likely to contribute to their job performance and satisfaction. However, Some evidence indicate that a manager job satisfaction increases as the number of employees supervised increase. We find fairly strong evidence linking centralization and job satisfaction. In general, less centralized organizations have a greater amount of autonomy. Autonomy appears positively related to job satisfaction. But again, while one employee may value freedom, another may find autonomous environment frustratingly ambiguous. We can draw one obvious insight or conclusion. One thing equal, people don't select employers randomly. They are attracted to, are selected by, and stay with organizations that fit their personal characteristics. Job candidates who prefer prediction are likely to seek out and take employment in a mechanistic structure. And those who want autonomy are more likely to end up in an organic structure. Thus, therefore, the effect of structure on employee behaviors is undoubtedly reduced when selection process facilitate proper matching of individual characteristic with organizational characteristic. Research has suggested that national culture do influence the preference for structure. Okay. Organizations that operate with people from high power distant cultures such as Greece, France, and most Latin America find their employees are much more accepting of mechanistic structure than are employees from a low power distance country. So consider these cultural differences along with individual differences, or preferences when predicting how structure will affect employee performance satisfaction. We can say that it is depending on the culture and the preferences of the employees. So with that, we stop for a while. We will actually continue with the next lecture after this.